Jai Hind children. We will be starting a new chapter, that is tribes, nomads and settled communities. In the previous chapters we have talked about the Delhi Sultans, the Mughal emperors, and in this chapter we will be dealing with the tribes and the nomads, etc. So let us start. When the chapter starts, it has to say that kingdoms, they rose and fell, but when this was happening, new art, crafts and production activities flourished in the towns and the villages. And over the centuries, important political, social and economic development also took place, but the social change was not the same everywhere, because different kinds of societies, they evolved differently. Now, it is very important to understand how and why this happened. In large parts of the continent, society was already divided into the rules of the Varna. We all are aware of the Varna system. These rules were prescribed by the Brahmins and they were accepted by the rulers of the large kingdoms. Now, this difference between the high and the low, the rich and the poor, this increased, and under the Delhi Sultans and the Mughals, this there was a lot of it increased the difference between the high and the low. The next topic is tribal societies. We know that many societies in the subcontinent did not follow the social rules and rituals which was prescribed by the Brahmins, nor were they divided into numerous unequal classes, and such societies, they were often called as the tribes. So, tribes were those societies which did not follow the social rules and rituals prescribed by the Brahmins, and members of each tribe, they were united by the kingship bonds, and many tribes, they obtained their livelihood from agriculture. They were hunter gatherers or herders. Then they also combined these activities to make full use of the natural resources where they lived. Some tribes were nomadic and they moved from one place to another. A tribal group often then also controlled land and pasture jointly, and they divided these among the households that lived according to their rules. Then many large tribes, they thrived in different parts of the subcontinent, and they usually lived in forest, hills, desert, which was very difficult to reach. Sometimes they clashed with the more powerful caste-based societies, and in various ways the tribes retained their freedom and preserved their separate culture. But the caste-based and the tribal societies also depended on each other for their diverse needs, and this relationship of conflict and dependence gradually caused both the societies to change. The next topic is, who are the tribal people? Now, contemporary historians and travelers, they give a very little information about these tribals, and there are few exceptions. Apart, like tribal people, they did not have any written record, but they preserved the rich custom and oral traditions, and these were passed down to each generation. And present day historians, they have started using such oral tradition to write tribal histories. Tribal people were found in almost every part of the subcontinent. Some powerful tribes, they controlled larger territories. In Punjab, the Khokhar was very influential. The Ghakkars then became more important. Their chief, Kamal Khan Ghakkar, was a noble mansabdar and by emperor in the king emperor's reign. Then in Multan and Sindh, the Lankas and the Arguns dominated extensive regions. The Baluchis were another large and powerful tribe in the northwest, and they were divided into many smaller clans. In the western Himalayas, they were the Gaddis. The distant northeastern part of the subcontinent too was entirely dominated by the Nagas, Ahoms and many others. We will be studying in detail about the Ahoms further. And in many areas of present day Bihar and Jharkhand, there emerged the Shero chiefdoms. Now, Raja Man Singh, who was Akbar's famous general, he attacked and defeated the Sheros in 1591, and a large amount of booty was taken from them, but this was not entirely, they were not entirely subdued. Under Aurangzeb, again the Mughal forces captured many Shero fortress and subjugated the tribe. Then the Mundas and the Santals were among the other important tribes that lived in this region and also in Orissa and Bengal. Maharashtra highlands and the Karnataka were home to the Kolis, Berads and numerous others. Kolis also lived in many areas of this Gujarat, and then there were other there were tribal populations of Korgas, Vetars, Marwars, etc. The large tribe of Bhils was spread across western and central India, and by the late 16th century many of them had become settled agriculturists and some even zamindars. And many Bhil clans, they remained hunter gatherers, and the Gonds were found in great numbers across the present day Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. So these are the various names of the tribal societies which we found. This is all in the first module. We will be discussing about the doubts in the live class. Till then, Jai Hind.